All right, we're back to The Walking Dead. It's weird to podcast on a Monday. We don't usually do that.
Yeah, I know, it's a little strange, right? I just wrapped up the episode, watched it on my Amazon Prime.
Well, I am Justin.
Oh, and I'm JP.
And we are The Podcasting Dead. Before we get into it, we just want to introduce ourselves for anybody that may just be finding our video. We typically talk about The Walking Dead, but we've started talking about other things, such as sexual education and politics.
Yeah, we've really covered the gambit.
Just playing. We really don't like politics. We don't talk politics that much. Well, I'm not going to say that. JP's a little bit more into them than I am, but we don't really discuss them hardcore. But sexual education, you'll get a lot of if you listen with JP.
Yeah, that comes up as well. Look, I mean, we're talking about the world, baby.
But so, yeah, hit that subscribe button or like for more content. And like I said, including The Walking Dead, just lots of other stuff. Just if you get a chance, check our channel out. If you like what you see, come hang out with us. Also, don't forget you can add us on Snapchat. I got a Snapchat from a viewer this weekend who we're going to give a shout out on our Random Rambling Wednesdays.
Really?
Mine's easy to find. I'm Justin Lloyd, and that's 2 L's. So Justin LLOID. I'm Justin Lloyd. That's my Snapchat and Instagram. JP, what's your Snapchat?
J_Radsaw.
And boom. You also have a Periscope, right?
Yeah, actually did some cooking and hanging out on my Periscope last night. It was a lot of fun. Cooked some chicken and green beans and mushrooms and a nice baked potato. It was all right. Yeah, just some late night cooking. Couldn't sleep.
Did you give them your name?
Yeah, I was looking to Jaypeazy, Jaypeazy. I guess that's what you punch in when you're, just look us up and hang out. But moving on to episode 9 of season 9. First impressions, JP, being you just got done watching it and I watched it last night. What did you think? I know, I'm trying to recollect everything that happened. I mean, I thought it was a solid season opener. Picks up right where we left off. You know, they're cutting through whispers.
It's hard to explain because if you were to tell me the format of the episode before I watched it, I would have thought I probably wouldn't have liked it. But I actually really liked it. Mm-hmm. It didn't blow my mind, but I was very happy with it. A lot of times when one character's alone, it just to me feels, like it could be boring or just slow. But I like how, again, they're flashing between different stories so like when the Negan thing, which I really enjoyed the Negan story, it kind of, to me, was reminiscent of him being free in the comics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they really stayed true to suit on that.
But I really enjoyed that, and if it felt like it got a little boring, boom, you flashed back to the hilltop, you know what I mean? Or you flashed back to Alden and Luke. And I really don't want Luke to die. Also, before we get into this, spoilers, when the video says review and discussion, I hope you would know we're going to spoil the crap out of this episode. If you didn't,
it's a full
stay off the internet. But yeah, I really feel like Luke's going to die. Like, I think they're going to trade him, right? They're going to trade him back. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to get that scene from the comics where Alpha, because I told my girlfriend, because we knew it was coming from the trailers, but when Luke and Alden were standing there, and at the very end when she comes out and she's like, I'm Alpha with the double-barrel shotgun, mm-hmm. even though we saw that in the previews, that's reminiscent of the comics, too.
Yeah.
So I figured that was going to happen when it did. I gotta say, man, I don't know if you really caught wind of her voice, but if you listen to, I don't know about you, but when I read the comics, I always imagined Alpha not having a Southern accent. You know what I mean? Like almost like an elegant, educated lady.
Right, like college professor. Not that there aren't Southern-sounding college professors.
Right.
No, I definitely more of like a sophisticated kind of sound.
Right, just more of like a regular. And in the show, I don't know how well you heard her, but I've heard it in the previews where she's like, I'm Alpha. And I'm like, dude, I didn't picture Alpha sounding like that. But I mean, I'm not downing it yet. I mean, she's yet to perform as Alpha. She could blow our minds, and that's fine. But I didn't imagine the governor being this big, I'm not going to call the governor, the guy that played David Morrissey, muscular, but he was a big, thick guy. He's a tall guy, thick dude, much bigger than Rick. And in the comics, he was this scrawny Danny Trejo-looking guy that I did not imagine having a country accent. And I love the TV governor. So
yeah, sometimes they switch it up and get it right, and hopefully that's going to be one of those times.
But I'm digging the Negan thing, man. Actually, a lot better than I thought I would. If you'd have told me that we'd have spent this much time with Negan this episode and that it was just him going back to the sanctuary and him on the road, I'd probably be like, oh, great, it's going to be a. But I actually really enjoyed it. And it might just be me. I know a lot of people are, crapping on the show in the comments, at least on Facebook that I'm seeing. But honestly, with this new path, I could kind of see Negan being the new Rick as far as for me personally. I'm sure some people will never let Rick go, and I understand because he was my favorite. But I actually really did not mind the Negan stuff.
Yeah, man. When he was in that department store where he hoping there was going to be like a sportswear section, he's going to find a baseball bat and just, get back to business.
I didn't know about the baseball. I knew he was going for a leather jacket.
Yeah,
I knew that was. I wonder if that signifying. But the leather jacket, it was new, but it was different. I wonder if the leather jacket is signifying that a part of the Negan that we started with is still there, or I wonder if it's supposed to kind of signify like same jacket, same style. I don't know what I'm saying. Like same material, different style. You know what I mean? Like same Negan, but he's different now.
Well, he's grown. It's not like that 50s greaser kind of like the Fonz leather jacket. Now he's moved on to
I told Caitlin, man, I'm not really one that watches stuff in shows, and I'm like, ooh, I want that shirt. Or like, I don't really notice stuff like that. But when he found that leather jacket, I was like, dude, I like that jacket. I have a leather jacket or two, but none that look that good. You know?
Man, leather jackets have never. I don't know if I just don't fill them out right, but they've never looked right on me.
Here's a secret, and this is just my little secret with leather jackets. Okay. You got to get them smaller than you would get other jackets. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, with me, I wear anywhere from medium to large in jackets. It just depends on who makes it, how it fits, how it's supposed to fit, yada, yada, yada. You got to get you if I get a large leather jacket, I look like a dad because it's like hanging off of me and it's just not. But if you get like a medium and, it fits a little snugger to you, it's not really oh man, yeah. And then the leather jackets, I got a couple at the house, you're never going to come. So I could bring them up here and you could try them on. But.
Yeah, like I said, I've never found one that really, I don't know, really looked right on me.
Yeah. You just got to check around. I don't really know if mine look right on me or not, but I like them.
Yeah, well, hey, at the end of the day, you're the only person you've got to satisfy.
What'd you feel about Judith? Do you like Judith?
I'm on the fence.
I am too. I don't know if I like her or not.
I like her better than I initially liked Carl. I will say that.
Yeah,
I don't know why she's being such a bee, like shooting. Which he was on his way back to Alexandria anyway. But
right,
that could have been a horrific accident.
He could have died, and then you'd be like, oh, okay, well.
She could have just shot it up in the air, and he could have stopped. But yeah, just straight up shoots him, or shoots the bike.
Language, asshole. Like he knew that was. I really like Negan with her. I don't know if I like her with him. You know what I'm saying? Like they're dynamic. I like his attitude towards her, but I just don't know if I believe her. I don't know if she's that believable. But again, I'm not at all downing, for the people that'll jump to her defense. I'm not saying she's terrible. She's a kid. She's already a better actor as a kid than I'd ever be as an adult. But I just, I don't know yet. We'll see how it goes. Again, like I said in some earlier episodes, she just was a little too Disney Channel-ish for me. This is Alexandria. This is home. Like,
I'm still liking Judith more than Henry. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I like how Daryl played him like a fiddle last night, though, or in that episode, though. Daryl played him so masterfully. Again, I'm going to say out the gate, I like this episode. I think the writing on this show has gotten a lot better. It's not as simplistic as I feel like it had been in past, like the last season or two. Like, I like how Daryl went in there basically knowing that, it was all a show. He knew that Henry would, that's why I told Henry, like, shut up. And he knew that once he got her all riled up and Henry riled up and he left, they're probably going to talk, and that's how he got her information. Man, I'm liking Daryl this season. So for those that know that I did not like Daryl the last couple of seasons, Daryl's back in my good graces. This is the kind of Daryl that I can jump on the bandwagon for because he's an awesome character right now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting when Maggie inevitably returns, if Daryl's running the hilltop, how things are going to play out.
And let's mention, we hadn't even talked about it yet, Michonne leaving.
Oh, yeah.
Which rumors say that she's going to go to the Rick movies, which is great because at least we'll still have her in some capacity. But we've said it, like go back to season 5 or 6 or wherever we started. I think it was season 6 is where we started. We've said for the longest time, you and I, that Michonne was one of our absolute favorite characters aside from maybe like Rick. So with Michonne gone, I'm not going to say the show's going to tank because with characters like Luke, I like Luke. I think he's fresh. He's believable. He's a good actor. I like Luke. I feel like he is going to die, which kind of sucks. I get that he dies in the comics and they whatever. And I know that, you got that's why they want to kill people. I know all of the reasons why they would kill him, but just don't. Let's get rid of some old big characters and let some new ones come in and get to know them. But I feel like the show is going to be okay without Michonne, but it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, dude, that's going to be a rough one.
I loved the scene when the Whisperer on the bridge, charged at her and she sliced that arm and then.
Oh yeah, man, I love Daryl shooting that one in that Whisperer.
That was smart,
and he just gets devoured.
Yeah, my girlfriend walked out of the room when she came back in. I was like, you just missed the tightest scene in the whole in this whole episode. I'm sure.
Yeah, that was great.
What about those dogs?
Oh man, that was kind of hard to listen to. Anytime a dog is getting killed or hurt.
Yeah, my girlfriend is very sympathetic to animals.
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, I know there was a wild pack of dogs that were going to eat him, but still, that was a little rough.
Did you see where Negan ended up at one point when he was throwing up? You didn't catch where Negan? Well, I called it as soon as they announced it on the Talking Dead, the Easter egg, but I called that shit. I called it right when it happened. My girlfriend, I was like, "Ooh, you know where he is, right?"
Trying to think, it was down by a creek.
You just watched it after the creek. He drank the water, which I wonder if that was also kind of a reference. If you remember in the comics, when he's on the road, he eats some old canned foods, and then they give him the poops, and he's like, "Remember in the comics?"
Oh yeah,
and he's like, "Oh, stupid expired canned food," and in this he drank water and threw up, which you should always boil at bare minimum. If you're going to drink water from a stream or something like that, you should at least boil it before. I mean, there's a lot of other ways you can filter it, but you definitely want to boil it. But old Negan,
yeah, just getting that old right gut water.
But you didn't catch where he was when he threw up?
No, I wasn't paying
He was where he killed Glenn and Abraham, and in fact, he was in the exact spot where he was standing.
Really?
Yes, go back and look. He's in that lot. It's like an open lot, kind of in the middle of the woods.
Huh.
Yeah, it's where he killed Abraham and Glenn. But yeah,
full circle.
It does come full circle, and like I said, the whole sanctuary thing. I would have thought that would be boring if somebody was to describe this episode to me. I'd be like, "Oh man, that sounds." But it actually was really cool. My only regret is it would have been super awesome to see a zombified Simon come around the corner or something. You know what I mean? But we got that other guy. I can't remember.
Or if Dwight and Sherry were just chilling there, they just decide to come back, it's all empty. Hey, we'll make this our home, and Negan just shows up. Oh,
three-way.
This is awkward.
Dwight would be like, "Go on, Negan.
Yeah.
This is our sanctuary now.
You ain't gonna melt the other
my
side
wife,
of my face.
My sanctuary, Negan. Get out of here." I wonder. I almost when he saw the burnt zombies, I almost thought that was the people that Carol set on fire.
Yeah,
but I don't think it is.
No.
But at first, that was my first thought: are those the because it would make sense, more saviors, coming back after him. But Jeffrey Dean Morgan did a great job of playing. I don't want to say broken because I don't think Negan's broken, but I think Negan again is changed, and Negan understands that things have changed. And I thought he did a really good job. He was very believable in his facial expressions, just everything. I thought Jeffrey Dean Morgan did a wonderful job this episode.
Definitely a more enlightened character. I don't know if I would have went back to that cell though, man. I would have just hit it south or something. I don't know
if he. Well, yeah, I guess he will get back to the cell, but I don't know, man. I really hope he gets back out because I really am wanting him to show up. We know that Daryl and Beta are going to get to fighting at some point.
Yeah,
I really hope again, like Daryl this season, but I hope this isn't them giving Daryl Negan's scene like they tend to do in a lot of stuff. They give Daryl other characters big parts. Do not do that. Angela Kang, if you're listening, you go back and you rewrite that episode, you get it reacted, and you change that schnit before we get to it.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see Daryl and Beta fight, but I want to see Negan and Beta. Now, if they do Daryl's fighting him, my hopes are that Negan shows up and kind of saves Daryl. Negan gets to brawl with Beta, so it's kind of like a 1-2 punch. I'm cool with that, but I better see Negan and Beta throw down.
Yeah, well, there's gonna have to be something big to redeem him in everybody's eyes, so that'd be the perfect opportunity.
If he showed up and saved Daryl,
yeah, just saves Daryl, yeah.
Which would be a really interesting dynamic between him and Daryl, considering he's the one that caught Daryl and tortured him and was trying to make him his little bitch, and now he's saving his life and they're friends. Like, do you think? All right, so this is like kind of like a personality thing on do people change or not? Do you think? Like, I'm just painting a scenario that's not going to happen in the show, but just based on his personality type, do you think if, like, say Alexandria got overrun and Negan got out of his cell and he just, saved the day, like led the charge and saved Alexandria and people started following him, now do you think he would go back to the way he was? Or do you think he would be completely changed? Because you got to think, being stripped of power is what's kind of made him a bit more humble, but having a community all of a sudden rally behind him, do you think he would go back to the way he was?
I don't think he'd be melting people's faces. I do think he would embrace polygamy, because why not? But I don't think he'd be as cutthroat.
You don't think he would be as ruthless?
No, I don't think there'd be like a point system. I think he'd follow the model they've got. I mean, it's in place. It works.
But you don't think like just having the power again would just corrupt him?
Drunk off power.
Right. I mean, that's kind of what he did the first time.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible.
I'm trying to think. I really like the moment between Daryl and Michonne there at the end, too. Mm-hmm. Actually, too, I was watching The Talking Dead, and apparently remember the X scars on Michonne's back and Daryl's back?
Yeah.
Like the lower back? Apparently, that's something only between he and her. And he said that Norman Reedus was on the Talking Dead, and he said that when you watch, you're going to find out that that's kind of like a between them type thing. Like they a line was crossed, and he said it's horrific. Like it's really a terrible, terrible reason why they have this scar. Which I love it. I love that we're having
Building
things like this. Yeah, man. Like this is
you're actually curious about.
I'm really, man. I see some people in the comment section of like comicbook.com or The Walking Dead on comicbook.com, and they're just ripping the show apart. And I'm like, well, then quit watching, man.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's finally gotten back on its feet.
I'm finally excited for it again.
Right.
Like I felt like the last season or two, they're definitely, which I liked. I like season 8, and season 7 for me was kind of the. Mm-hmm. Honestly, the one where I was trying to be optimistic. Season 8 kind of started picking up in the second half, when they finally got to the war or whatever. But, but now, man, I love this. It feels fresh. I love the way that they do that. I mean, like when Luke and Alden are in the woods and that walker just stops. Mm-hmm. And you kind of try to picture that from their point of view. They don't even know who the Whisperers are at the moment.
Yeah, they're still in the dark on it.
And then all of a sudden there's just this crowd of what you think to be just regular walkers just standing still. Like, I love it. Hats off, man. Again, I think it's really well done. I think it's really well written because it doesn't have to always be nonstop action or in-your-face brutality or whatever to be a good episode. Sometimes it can be a little bit less action-y, but if the writing's there, it's worth watching. And I really enjoyed the writing on this one.
Telling you, man, I would have pulled a Shane. I would have shot Alden in the leg, pushed him. Well, I guess I wouldn't have had to push him down. He'd have fell, and I'd have made a run for it.
But then Alpha would have pulled out the double barrel and mowed you down.
It wouldn't have helped at all, but I still would have done it. I mean, no, clearly it wouldn't have helped at all because they're not. I
swear to God, the day you come to me and you go, because I'm usually carrying something. So the day that you come to me and you say, "Hey, zombies are taking over," I'm just going to shoot you in the face. I'm going to tell you that now. When the zombie apocalypse happens, best not tell me, because as many times as you've told me how quick you will be to sacrifice someone for yourself, I'm just going to...
Why should we both die?
I won't hunt you down, but if you're near me and you go, "The zombies are taking over, we got to go," I'm going to be like, "All right, let's go." When you turn around, all right, just saved myself from being a sacrifice to that bastard.
Oh, well.
But, I'm trying to think, man. It was a lot to cover on this episode, but a really good episode. Again, I was happy with it. I mean, after waiting, when it ended, I was happy. It was not nonstop action, but I don't expect nonstop action from The Walking Dead. If we want to get to know and love these characters, you have to have these moments where you talk to them. And, hey, we got to have Jesus for the whole episode. He might not have had any dialogue, but, he was there.
He was there, yeah.
And now Tara's kind of one of those characters like Daryl. I don't mind Tara as much this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's been a lot of growth, that's for sure, and a lot better writing.
And she seems mature. What about Rosita, man? And what's so funny is I told my girlfriend, because she read most of the comics. Well, she read up to like volume. She saw the beginning of the Whisperer story. She never saw how that ended. But that's about the time she quit reading. But she quit reading altogether. She just forgot how.
Road signs, nothing.
Right. It's awful when we get to a stop sign. It's really dangerous. But she, I was telling her, I said, now what's funny, because, Rosita went outside and she started throwing up, which had to make Eugene feel like crap. Think about it. He could hear. So he professes his love. She storms out. Next thing he hears is, like, do I repulse girls that much? But as soon as she puked, I was like, oh, she's pregnant, because I forgot all about her being pregnant. And I was like, actually, though, in the comics, we just recently found out that it was, most likely Sadiq's.
Yeah, exactly.
We thought it was Eugene's. I mean, we had our feelings like she might not be entirely faithful, but I don't think we knew until like the last year or so that it was actually probably Sadiq's, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I told Caitlin, and I didn't think they were going to go that way in the show so quick. And then, she tells Sadiq, when we were having fun.
I'm telling you, Rosita's getting around. That's for sure.
I mean, geez.
Everybody, but,
how far along is she? She doesn't look like she's that far. I mean, with my girlfriend being pregnant, I should know more answers to this type of question, but I don't. But I'm like, how far? I want to know now, how long has she been with Father Gabriel? Is Father Gabriel going to take Eugene's spot? In the sense of, remember, Eugene, like Father Gabriel's going to think that the baby, she's going to tell him, but make him think it's his.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I wonder if they're going to kind of replace Eugene and Father Gabriel, which means we could see Eugene's head on a spike. Not that Father Gabriel's head ends up on a spike, but I'm just saying.
But yeah, Eugene might be on his way out.
He might be on the chopping block.
Man, I hope he's trained somebody how to make bullets, because they're definitely going to need them.
No, well, I'm sure by this point it's been 6 years. He's bound to. That would be my thing, man. If I ran like a Walking Dead style community, like any kind of apocalypse, and we had survivors. If you were like any skill you have, please take a couple of apprentices with you. If you're a mechanic, or an engineer, you can build things. Find some willing people, teach them your skills. If you're a doctor, man, let's get like 10 people in there for you to show what you're doing, because these things are valuable, and you can't just put up a help wanted ad now, in that time.
Yeah, man, it's hard to just find a book on dentistry, and next thing you know how to do a root canal.
No kidding. Imagine that in the apocalypse.
Ooh, man, I always think of Tom Hanks in Castaway.
Ooh, when he breaks that tooth or whatever. I don't like that.
What, with like an ice skate in his mouth or something?
God, man, just the thought. I don't. That's I think that part of that movie messed everybody up.
Yeah, it's like whenever people are like, man, it'd be so great if things just went back to like they were in the Old West, or just like civilization collapsed. I'm just like, like there's no dentistry, like you're gonna die if you get a broken arm, probably.
Oh, absolutely. Somebody
that.
Slashes you with a knife, it could be a death sentence.
Yeah. Look at Khal Drogo.
That's what I tell people, man. Like, I'm not a prepper by any means. Preppers are cool. To each their own, man. You do what makes you happy. If that's your hobby, preparing for the end of the world, man, you do your thing. If it happens, we're all going to be wishing we were you.
Yeah.
But I do, because we have hurricanes and bad snowstorms and stuff here that sometimes keep us trapped inside or knock the power out for a few days. So I do have some like shit hits the fan stuff. I have a box that's like a big, like we're stuck in the house, shit hits the fan. Mm-hmm. But I also have a little backpack that's kind of, I guess you'd call it a bug out bag. And it's not really as extravagant as some of the people I see on YouTube just go thousands of dollars into it. No, I mean, it's some basic stuff, but just because I've told people the same thing too. Like my buddy's like, so you ready for the apocalypse? I'm like, I hope, I know. Yeah. I don't want the apocalypse to happen, man. You realize how brutal that's going to be? Like think about like, how many children are going to die, and how many like women that have complications with birth that these days it's just like, oh, this is nothing. We'll just do a C-section or whatever, and they'll fix the problem. Those were death sentences back in the day.
Yeah, man, the infant mortality rate. I mean, even you think just like
infant and mother.
Ago, yeah, infant and mother. I mean,
so no, I want no kind of apocalypse. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I would hope I could kick some ass in the apocalypse, but I don't ever want to find out.
I'm telling you, man. Like I don't know if you've seen
but if it happens, you're gonna die.
I think it's the Nick. I think it was a Stars series. It ran for like 2 seasons. Really, really good. But just it shows the process. Like like patient after patient trying to perfect the C-section. And man, it was awful.
I bet.
So many women died. And it took so long just to be able to successfully do that procedure.
And yet I read a story about a woman the other day who it was talking about like the powers of moms. You know, mothers just sometimes have these superhuman instincts.
Yeah.
And this one lady was like, I don't remember if she was snowed in or what, but she wasn't able to get to the hospital and she was alone and she performed her own C-section.
Oh my God.
Cut her baby out and her baby were fine. With no this wasn't a doctor or anything. This was just a woman whose instincts took over and she just cut herself open and pulled the baby out.
Women are amazing creatures. They really are.
But, and yet she survived and then Lori died.
Yeah.
Which I don't, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not crying about that.
I was pretty sad for Carl when that happened. But I mean, overall, like I said, I found Andrea to be the most annoying character. One of the most in the show's history, if not the most. So when Lori died, I didn't mind Lori up until her reaction to Rick killing Shane. I'm like, you just told the dude 2 or 3 episodes ago that he was dangerous and something needed to be done. So he did something and you just instantly are like, how dare you?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the whole Lori debacle, but Andrea debacle, but man, Lori was by far.
I think we had like you and one listener said that you really liked Andrea.
I'm not going down that road, but Lori was my least favorite. Well, like for what Andrea was for you, Lori was.
You either hate Andrea or you're wrong.
Either way, I'm just saying. Lori
I'm just playing it. To each their own, but for real, Andrea sucked. If you liked her, I wish I could see the world with the rose-colored glasses that apparently you have, because I found her to be the most aggravatingly. Beth kind of annoyed me too. I'm not going to lie. Like Emily McKinney or whatever her name is, Emily Kinney seems like a super sweet person, and I really liked her. I got tired of hearing her sing, like with Alden or whatever when he's talking about he sings a little bit. I'm like, please don't become the new Beth. I don't want to hear your music in The Walking Dead. But I like Alden. What do you think? Which characters are you digging as we get into this? As we're into this new season, which of the characters are you liking? As far as let's say not your main ones like Michonne, Daryl, like who are you liking?
The only reason I hate you asking me that is because I never remember anyone's name. Oh, geez. I like our new knife wielding heroine.
Our new knife wielding heroine.
She was so upset that they took her knives away.
Huh?
They took her knives away.
What are you talking about? You talking about Magna?
Yeah.
Oh, you should know her. She's in the comic.
Yeah, I know, but I forget everyone's name.
Her hair is like on point, man.
Yeah, dude,
it just
really
it really reminds me of almost like a Phoenix type deal, like Jean Grey Phoenix type of style. But she's a badass. She's definitely, which a lot of people really like her in the comics, and I think they've done her justice in the show so far. I think we know she's a badass. And I think we'll see her become more front and center and more of a badass.
Yeah.
Her whole little group, I actually really like.
Yeah, and with Michonne on her way out, I could definitely see Magna filling that void, maybe even picking up her sword. And
I know her name's Magna. I call her Magnus. I've called her like Magnum.
Yeah.
I've called her a lot, so I know what her name is, but you're going to hear me call her lots of different things. It just makes it fun.
Right.
But yeah, and like I said, I think my favorite new character of all of them is Luke. I like Luke, man. I think he's believable. Like he reminds me of somebody that I would know, like that sit at a bar and have a drink with. He's a good actor.
Dude,
yeah, I like him. I'm glad Michonne didn't chop him in half like we thought she did when she chopped that old violin.
Yep.
Yeah, see, what I did yesterday, JP was supposed to be joining me, but he had to work or something.
Yeah.
But I started around like 5, man, and just started drinking some beer.
Oh, man, nice.
Just basically eating. But I just watched the Walking Dead from that point forward just to get caught back up and kind of be, in the swing. Because it's so easy to go months without it and then kind of forget what's happened in the first half. And then you get on here and we're like, oh, yeah, that guy, what's his name?
Yeah, I finally got home. I was hoping if I stayed up long enough that Amazon Prime would throw it on. But, of course, didn't get to watch it till this morning. So
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we really – I mean, I'm sure there's always something we've missed.
But I think we've been pretty concise, more or less.
Let me think. I mean, it's a lot happening, but Oh, yeah, too. And also things not looking so good between Henry and Daryl. You know, Carol wanted Daryl to watch Henry, and
yeah, he's watching him all right.
I mean, I love the look Daryl gave him when he gets back and finds that he's in jail. Like, just the look Daryl gave him kind of reminds me of something like my dad would do when I screwed up. You know, like he's completely not expecting it, and he gets back and Henry's in jail, and he's just kind of like, you little bastard, man. You just got here and you already in jail. And I like how he had him out. Daryl's like that stern father a lot of people need. Daryl's like, he's like, the fresh air helps. Yeah, we'll enjoy it because in 2 minutes your ass is going back in that cell. It's like, what? He's like, hey, the sentence is 2 days. Everybody's got to.
Yep. Do the crime, do the time.
I feel like the way you act when you're intoxicated, you would spend your entire existence at the hilltop in that jail.
Oh, I'd be the Otis Campbell, no doubt.
Drunk and disorderly. Yeah, JP's very obnoxious, for a lack of a better term, when he's drunk. So I think JP would spend a lot of his days behind those bars.
Yeah, well, I said just an Otis Campbell, you know, just leave a key out. I'll let myself in and out. You know, it'll be a good thing.
I loved Otis.
Yeah, he was a great character.
Yeah, I thought he was awesome. I'm trying to think, though. We try to cover as much of these as we can, and then we always have somebody in the comment section that's like, oh, you forgot, you know, this or that, but... you know, don't forget too, we love discussing the show. We're not the experts. We're not the Talking Dead. We don't do these to be the authority on The Walking Dead. We just enjoy the show. We used to sit around and talk about it some, and we were like, hey, we like to podcast. We both work on radio and would love to discuss this on the radio, so let's just make a podcast. So this is just a discussion for friends that enjoy The Walking Dead.
Right. Anything we missed, I'm sure we'll cover next week.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
A beautiful thing.
Do you think you're going to recover with Michonne leaving? I know that I had said Rick was my favorite, then Michonne. I think for a while, Michonne was your absolute favorite, even over, like, Rick.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. It all depends on how she goes out. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Like I said, she's going to the Rick movie, which is going to be interesting, though, because there's been a 6-year gap here. So I don't know really how she's going to fit into the Rick movie. Yeah. I wonder if she'll get picked up by a helicopter or go off on a boat like she did in the comics.
Yeah, man, it's going to be a tough one.
I feel like it's going to be somewhat like her comic story. I mean, like I said, it's the perfect opportunity because she did leave for a while after All Out War, which there is a 6-year gap in which we don't know what happened, too. So she could have already went on her little boat journey.
Yeah, hard to say.
But then again, I don't think she would have left RJ and
that's true, man. You know. She's got 2 kids she's going to be leaving behind.
Yeah, she's got 2 kids. Yeah, she's got Judith and RJ. So I don't really think that she would, you know, leave them. So I doubt that the boat thing's already happened. Unless she went out on the boat, found out she was pregnant. It's like, well, damn it. Now I got 2 of them.
Thought it was seasickness, but apparently not.
Yeah, just Judith holding that 357 or that Python of Rick's, man. That gun is as long as her arm.
Yeah, it is. That is pretty ridiculous.
I told my girlfriend, I was like, if she's shooting 38 specials out of that, then that's a little bit more believable because that's not that powerful of it. It doesn't, you know. But if little girl's not shooting 357s out of that Python. And I think my girlfriend was like, but she's probably stronger than me. I was like, it ain't got nothing to do with, look at her arms. She physically does not have the build yet. She's a young little girl. Like, she does not have the build. And I love that some, like on The Talking Dead, man, they really were reaching for questions because they were asking some of the dullest questions. Like, do you trust Lydia? No, we don't trust Lydia. Who trusts Lydia? Which we hadn't even touched on Lydia yet. But they were like, do you think Judith missed Negan on purpose? Well, for consistency of story writing, she better have because she sure was accurate as hell when she was saving Magna and Luke and everybody. Sure. You know, so I hope she missed on purpose. But Lydia, man, I mean, like, what do you think of her? I found her to be kind of annoying, I'm not going to lie, but annoying in a good way. It was annoying, not the actress's fault, but how she just like, I don't know, leave me alone, please just, I don't know. Like, it was like, I feel the stress that like Michonne and Daryl and Tara would have felt. Like, just talk, woman.
Yeah, you got to wonder how much of it is an act.
I think it's definitely, it's interesting because in the comics it seemed like she gave up the ghost a whole lot sooner than
she was like glad to be gone from those people.
Like, just get me away from these rapey.
Yeah, I was gonna say
weird people.
Getting raped by people in dead skin suits it can't be any fun.
I feel like they're gonna take that part out. I really feel like they're going to take out the
fact that she's been raped.
Yeah, because you got to think in the comics, man. Michonne went through a really bad rape sequence we won't discuss. And in the show, they just kind of replaced it with the governor making her get topless and like bent her over, but he never actually raped her or did anything to the level of the comics. So I don't, and I understand why. Like, rape is not an easy. And I mean, in reality, though, in Robert Kirkman's case in the comics, though, I mean, that probably would be a scary reality of an apocalypse. There probably would be rape, and there would be, because people just will do what they want to with no repercussions.
Yeah, they do.
But I understand the show not wanting to really touch the whole rape thing. Like they might kind of allude to it, but I don't think that they would actually. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if they don't really include the rape thing. I'm
telling you, man, that's like they had like a full-on rape scene in The Sopranos, man. It's difficult to watch. I mean, it's fictionalized, but it's
that's like that movie, The Last House on the Left or whatever, where it's basically a girl's, and it's been so long since I've watched this movie, so I might even be giving the plot away wrong. But it's like she's staying at the house by herself or something, her dad's house, or parents' house on the lake, and these dudes follow her and they rape her. And I just remember being in theaters and almost leaving. Like, rape scenes are hard.
It's difficult.
So I don't understand rapists. I guess it's just, the way the brains.
Thing,
Because, I mean, like, watching, it's just hard to watch. I can't even imagine, like, witnessing something like that.
Ugh.
I don't even like rape porn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've met a couple of people that have been like, well, I wouldn't rape nobody, but I like that rape porn. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, if you're going to immerse yourself in it, it's just kind of hard to deal with.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And I'm just playing. I don't really know anybody that, you see people like making jokes about, like liking rape porn, but I don't think I'd personally know anyone that's been like, I love rape porn.
Yeah, that hasn't come up in a conversation for me lately, anyway.
At least not since my mid-20s.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, as you get older, you just really don't talk about porn as much.
I know, it's sad. We should really do a podcast about that.
Like when you're in your 20s, you're like, oh man, there's three ways, and then you're just talking about all the different kinds of porn. Now when you're 30, you're just like...
Well, it gets to a point to where, I mean, you've seen, everything there is to see.
Kids, listen up. One day you will be as up on your porn as we are.
Yeah, unless you really get into some nasty stuff like, like poop and all that. Yeah, I mean, there's some rabbit holes even I haven't been down, so...
True that. But, so I think we've touched on the majority of this episode. I apologize for anything we may have skipped over. Be sure to throw it in the comments section. And, of course, we will mention it on next week's podcast. In fact, don't forget, we've got at least 2 more podcasts coming out this week. Random Ramblings Wednesday and our Mail Call podcast on Thursday. So if you have a question you want us to answer, don't forget... Actually, I tell you what, because we're starting these back up, normally we tell people that if you wanted your question answered, to comment it on the Mail Call podcast. However, the views kind of go up when this is in season because people that, some people come and they listen during the show's running and then they kind of, don't. But if you just hashtag Mail Call in the comment section, we'll throw it into this week's Mail Call podcast.
Couldn't be any easier.
So before we wrap this up, JP, let's go ahead and give this episode a rating. So from out of 5 stars, what you gonna do?
I'll give it like a 3.75.
Wow.
Yeah.
A little bit lower than I would have imagined.
I mean, I really liked it,
Don't sound like it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay.
Which I know I'm only 0.25 ahead of you.
Right.
It didn't blow my mind by any means, but with that said, it was a good, solid episode.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Lots of character development, lots of what's the word I'm looking for? Lots of setup.
Yeah. It was really well balanced.
The introduction of Alpha. I mean, lots of things happening, and I'm digging it. I very much look forward to where this show is going to go.
Same here.
So if nothing else, we'll catch you Wednesday for our Random Rambling Wednesdays. I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we are the Podcasting Dead.
Yep.